Okay, Chelsea, I am
Yes.
going to, because I don't want to do the same thing 2 weeks in a row.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a vague idea or a general topic for the
A
mini.
choice. Yes.
So, we can talk about ancient history. We can talk about genetics. We can talk about what is this? I'm just getting rid of
Journey
this one.
to
It
the
looks too
Fringe episode
complicated.
podcast.
We can talk about the Moonies, which we can't because we've done that one.
Okay.
We can talk about aliens.
This is a tough
Or
choice.
we can talk about space junk.
Genetics.
Okay. This one is from Live Live Science. We defy learning what the actual correct way to say it.
Yeah.
Great source. No idea how to say it. Refuse to learn.
How do you find out?
Who's to say? Anyhow, written on September 18th, 2025 by Kamal Nahas. Article title, Tiny Brains Grown in Lab Could Become Conscious and Feel Pain, and We Are Not Ready.
No, I'm not ready for this episode even. Uh-oh.
So, scientists are getting closer to growing human brains in labs, and it's spurring an ethical debate over the welfare of these lab-reared tissues. The debate surrounds brain organoids, which are sometimes mistaken for sci-fi inspired brains in boxes. I think we're going to learn. However, they appear to be a small assembly of brain tissues, because that's what they say, grown from stem cells, are too simple to function like a real human brain. As such, scientists have assumed brain organoids lack consciousness, which has led to lax research regulations. Some scientists, however, take a different view.
Yeah.
Quote, we feel that in the fear of hype and science fiction inspired exaggeration, the pendulum has swung too far in the opposite direction, end quote. Christopher Wood, a bioethics researcher at Zhejiang University in China, told Live Science in an email. In a perspective piece published September 12th in the journal Patterns, Wood and his colleagues argued that technological advances may soon lead to the creation of conscious organoids. The authors say regulations regarding the use of organoids should be reviewed. It would be unethical for a conscious organoid to experience its own thoughts and interests or to feel pain, said Boyd Lomax, a neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins University. But reining in consciousness may not be straightforward. The stem cells used to make organoids grow side by side and lack complex organization when they're cultured on a 2D surface like a dish. But when they're grown in a solid gel or a spinning bioreactor that keeps the cells aloft, they adopt 3D anatomical networks that resemble what's seen in an embryonic brain. Although they develop 3D features, brain organoids are too simple to be conscious, some neuroscientists argue. Consciousness in a brain arises when different regions of the organ communicate, but organoids resemble only a single part of the brain. And none of these lab-grown mini brains are larger than 0.16 inches or 4 millimeters in diameter, suggesting important faculties of consciousness are missing. People often think of consciousness in humans or animals as a state of being aware of oneself. However, quote, we think of consciousness in organoids as a basic level of sensation, the capacity to feel pain and pleasure, end quote, said Andrea Lavazza, a moral philosopher and neuroethicist at Pegaso University in Italy. Most neuroscientists define consciousness as self-awareness or the ability to feel or experience something. Alison Muotri, a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Diego, told Live Science in an email. But there is no universal agreed upon definition, she said. He said, wow, Allison is a he. Sorry, plot twist in that one. Or typo. Who knows? Some definitions of consciousness focus on the brain's ability to process and respond to its environment through senses like sight and hearing. Brain organoids are cultured outside of a body and cannot receive such signals, Lavazza noted. But in the future, more advanced organoids could still theoretically experience pain. In humans, membranes that envelop the brain, called meninges, which I think is where we take meningitis from, contains neurons that can send pain signals to the organs. The worry is that the same could be possible in more sophisticated organoids. On the flip side, Boyd argued that, quote, if an organoid has the internal neural architecture necessary for representing pain, then no external signal would be required, end quote. So there need not be a pain signal from a neuron for pain to occur. This is how phantom pain arises in people who have lost limbs. That makes a lot of sense. Wood noted, however, that it's unclear whether an organoid could experience something tantamount to phantom pain, as this might depend on having a memory of the lost limb. So in words, it's complicated.
Wow.
This actually goes on for quite some time, so I'm going to link the article so you can read more. But Chelsea,
I think
what do you
that gives enough. I have so many thoughts on this. This is such an interesting philosophical article, I think. Number one, my first comment, I think, is just something that while you were talking, I think gave me pause, which was
it my having to reread things multiple
times? It was that Allison was a he. No, it was that. What was it that you said? That just merely by having a brain and being able to feel pleasure and pain gives you a sense of self, a sense of consciousness. Now, to me, there are living things that could experience pain that I don't think that people would necessarily think would have a consciousness, being parts of like the reefs and stuff like that.
They still experience consciousness. They exist.
They wouldn't have a sense of self.
Yes. But that doesn't mean they aren't conscious, yes.
Exactly. And which also would bring up the fact of people who argue, and this was something as a part of a philosophy class that I took, at which point would you consider, and it was not just a regular philosophy class, it was, I can't remember what exactly it was. The argument was abortion, right or wrong. And a part of and I think it's equally important in what we're talking about right now. At what point do you feel a fetus would gain consciousness, would gain a soul? And what makes that right or wrong? At what point? And what the argument would be, at what point do you think this thing gets a soul? And what is the meaning of a soul behind something like that? And I think it's a very relevant argument towards what we're talking about right now.
I weirdly got that theme from this too, and it's almost like that ethically has to be talked about at the same time.
Yes.
But I didn't want to talk about it, weirdly enough. Everybody knows the soul happens at the quickening. Right? The Bad Religion covered it well in their song The Quickening. Just go listen to that and you'll understand.
But as weird as it seems, I think it's similar ties to it.
Yeah.
With something that we're creating that isn't human, but could potentially.
Yeah.
Like, how do you measure that?
One thing that bothered me that's left out from that article, why are they growing these?
Yes, exactly. Which gave me, and that was another point of mine. Why are they growing these? And what the hell are they doing with them?
I mean, my theory, Chelsea, just throwing it out there. It turns out reincarnation is the correct religious view. And they're just creating hell. Because these things, they're clearly ethically arguing, scary. Can only feel pain.
You know what? There's something that leaves me very disturbed about the article as well, which is my third point.
Which maybe gets covered in the last third of the article, which we could have read at this point.
There's so many points I want to make. This is only the third.
This is a big article.
What the fuck are they doing?
There's so many implications. Too many to have for a minute. And I didn't know they were growing these. I've always kind of considered like human brains kind of off limits for growing in a vat.
No, there's nothing off limits for growing in a vat these days. And I think before it goes too far,
not with the deregulation that we're living through these days.
That's true. And what with the souls, the administration probably needs to collect in order to distract from the Epstein files.
Well, maybe the Epstein files are just the friends we made along the way, and also these little things in vats, because they're
I think there's too much to this to comprehend. And that's probably where the mini should end.
Yeah.
This week.
And I mean, I think, therefore I am. I almost feel like this is exactly what he was talking about with the brain in the back.
Probably, I would say yes.
I don't know. You guys got 48 hours to think about it. I don't want to think about it anymore. Maybe you
No,
don't, but you
it's
got it
making
for
me
48
uncomfortable.
hours. Anyhow, bye.
Bye.